Yeah. Let's do it again, baby. Whoa. Woo. Woo. Welcome to the Comedians of Wrestling podcast. I am your host, the host with the new cOw title. It is the Supermark, the one and only Tiptoe with Tullo, your new, shiny, sexy, beautiful, strapping, and strong champion, the Supermark Nick Tullo. I am the new host of the Comedians of Wrestling podcast, and that's what comes with the territory when you become champ, you know? And it's a beautiful day to get our hands dirty, dig deep into the soil, and reach for the roots of this podcast and bring it back to its glory of what it once was. That's why I'm champion. That's why I'm here. And I'm your new host. And guess what? That's how things are going to be now. Dan, let me intro. We have this wonderful guest today. He is magnificent.
My God.
For how many years? 7 years, the host of the Comedians of Wrestling podcast, has done so many great things, including losing at DZ Does Dallas to me, and now turning over the reins of this podcast to the true heir of the throne. You know, Dan, welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. How are you? How you doing today?
Yeah. Well, look. You know, for the new listeners, I'm Donsky Blackmora, J.R. Black, the host of the Comedians Wrestling podcast. And we had a big live show. We went down to Dallas for Wrestlemania. It was an actual great time in many, many ways, a lot of ways, a tremendous amount of ways. People are talking. But we did do a live show as part of the GCW collective right after Bloodsport.
Correct.
Right before Joey Janela's spring break. People were talking about it. The show really tore the house down. It was a sold-out show, you know? And Mickey James popped up on the show. Ryan Nemeth was on the show. Fucking
Bobby
Brad
Roode.
Attitude. Bobby motherfucking Roode was on the show. Dolph Ziggler chopped an audience member whose wife left him. Actually, baby mama left him, not wife. A lot happened. There was a lot of good times to be had. Christina came out as a Dallas cowgirl and was hitting everybody with vodka-laced dripsticks. Listen, it was insanity. Did the sound system work well? Many are saying no. We did a meet and greet. I met like hundreds of people. I was taking pictures for Dolph. It was so much positive happened on that show. I mean, arguably, even with the massive negative that I'm about to get to, it was a constant state of an amazement of what we're able to do with this pod and this and that. And it's a weird thing because it's like, I don't know, how do you measure success? You know, we ain't got the most listeners of any podcast, even though we probably should. I mean, you know,
that's going to change. So.
Yeah, I mean, Tullo's got some big plans here, and nothing I respect more than the cOw title, and a lot happened that we'll get into, but we do the coolest shit. Every other podcast is what? Just like asking like wrestlers how it felt to win. I mean, that's literally what they do, right? And what we do is we're fucking pro wrestlers. I don't know what else to say. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, we are truly walking the walk here. I mean, it's in arguably stupid ways. I mean, look at this. Look at that.
Let me tell you something. The ring that we fight in is a stage, which everybody knows.
Right.
And usually the stage is made of wood, a little bit more give.
Yeah.
Okay. This one was concrete.
Yeah, this was concrete with a nice
No
fresh
gift.
lacquer that makes your skin stick while your full body's direction is going the opposite way. Now, also, one thing about the cow rings is the hardest part of the cow ring is the entire ring. It's not just the apron. The entire ring is an apron. And so that's what I'm saying. So I'm always fucking in awe of it. You know what I mean? Like we ain't got like some big fancy sponsorships, and I don't even understand. Frankly, you know what? You want me to come off a little bitter? I don't understand how with the shit that we do, we don't get noticed the way other people do for their real mediocre, boring shit. You know? It's like, hey, Becky, so now you're a mom, and that's cool. Like, what? How's it being a mom and a wrestler? I mean, who wants to even hear that? You know what I mean? So look, that's what's going on out there. I guess I'm throwing shade, but whatever. You know, listen, I had a tough loss this weekend, but ultimately we all had a fucking great time. I'll say this: Nick Tullo was the producer of the show down at DZ Does Dallas. He was producing the show, and he was happy in that role to be a producer. Frankly, I pushed him too far. A lot of the sound was cutting out, and some of that stuff. To be honest, he was doing a great job now in hindsight, and just that the capabilities of the actual venue were not really up to snuff and up to par. Like we weren't given a lot that we were promised, and I took it out on Tulo during the show, and then he snapped. He kind of had enough. I mentioned, a relationship he had that ended up not working out in my anger. And Tulo challenged me for a match. And the main event, we had a match. And frankly, I didn't take Tulo seriously enough. And I passed out. I passed out from the eat my ass. Did I get super kicked before the eat my ass? Just to clarify, 100% I did.
Some may call that karma.
Some would call that karma. Who regulates karma? The karma police.
That super kick was coming from for a long time.
So Tulo, that one. I know. I'll give you championship speaking privileges here. You have the ultimate speaking stick, which is the cow title. Now it's in Austin. It makes me sad. But also, I'll say this: having the responsible title behind me is kind of like before we started recording, I really looked at it for about. Literally, I spent 2 hours just staring right at it, and I was almost in a trance. And it made me think about what the person I became during this pandemic, And I looked at that title, and going into this pandemic, my goal was to be responsible. And I let my anger, I let my sadness, I let all that get the best of me. And that super kick, I believe, kind of just like snapped something in me, to the face. And so,
you sure it wasn't You sure it wasn't the eat my ass?
It could have been also the fact that I was eating your ass. I was in the eat my ass. I wasn't eating your ass, but I was in the eat my ass submission, which many would say is the equivalent of eating your ass in kayfabe.
Most devastating submission in all of professional.
Yeah, it's not fun. I've been in it before. I've been in a human centipede version of an eat my ass as well in Vegas, And what happens in Vegas obviously doesn't stay there because I just told you. But so, Tulo, I just want to say to you that, like, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you for kind of bringing me back, and helping me find my way back to the, being a responsible
I truly believe,
and
I'm going to bring you back. I'm going to bring the fans back, the listeners back. Maybe, we're a little bit like, the Fed, sometimes you dip out, right? And then you need something to get you back in. Well, I'm here. I want to bring everybody back. I want to take this podcast and bring it back to its glory days, okay? I'm almost thinking we might actually be on the best run of our lives right now. And dude, I can't even tell you. My socials are going crazy. Everybody's talking about it. People came up to me after the show, and we're just going nuts about how much fun they had and how entertaining we are. And you know what? That really inspired me. And I was like, it's time. Like, it's time to do it. And you know what, Dan? I'm going to need you to be with me, because I already know who I want. I'm not wasting any time. I have a target. I've already freaking scoped them out.
Yeah.
And I know who I want, and I'm gonna fucking kick his ass. It's fucking Sean Ross Sapp, that fucking journalist.
Wow, are you
Short,
giving
fake Dave Meltzer.
You're giving Sean Ross Sapp a shot at the COW title? Potentially?
If he wants it, he could come and get it. But I'm telling you, that dude is scared. I saw him at the clusterfuck at Joey Janela Spring Break Part 2, and he needs redemption because he was so embarrassing.
Was he one of the guys there just constantly farting? Or was that what just was everyone there?
It was
the Joey Janela thing was just like they're just feeding everybody just taquitos. I mean, in there it was
it's great. Farts galore.
Yeah,
but I want him, man. Honestly, I think it's time. I think I'm not gonna waste any time. I picked him out. I'm not gonna stop until he notices, and when he notices, it's gonna be massive match in cow history, and it will happen. Well, maybe someone comes before that. I don't know, but I'm just already. I put my target out. I've called my shot. That's the dude I want, and I'm ready to fucking defend this cow title against anybody. I saw Iffy was wrestling this weekend. I thought he retired.
Well, I didn't see. What was Iffy doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I saw some. He was on some stage wrestling.
Well, I guess
he was like stealing Cow's bits over here, but whatever.
Well, I would say this. Tullo, my question for you, as someone who's kind of stepping away for a second here, I got to recenter myself, think about the man I want to be before I make my in-ring return at some point, if that even happens, to be honest, I was training this morning, getting back in shape. Also been letting my shape go a little bit as well. That's not good, so that was a thing. But are you intending to be a fighting champion? The people need to know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I hit you so hard with that spear, my neck hasn't felt the same.
This is from that spear.
I mean, good God. I mean, my shoulders are fucking destroyed from that spear. And I also landed very hard, giving you a stunner as well. There's no giving that stage. So, yeah, I'm a fighting champion. I'm ready to go right now, actually. I feel great.
Well, we'll see what these changes mean for you, and you'll be announcing them as we go, and you'll be on every episode, I imagine, as the COW champion, and you have privilege to be here. I have no control over that. Just want to remind everybody, so this is the Comedians Wrestling Podcast. We're saying that. Patreon.com/Comedians Wrestling. Support
Dan, tell them, please. Yeah,
everything we do. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for giving me that. Well, this is admin. I mean, you don't want it. You're the champion. It's like, I assumed you didn't mind if I do the admin here.
Please go ahead.
Patreon.com/Comedians of Wrestling. Support this podcast. In step with Tullo's seems to be his revitalization efforts on the Cow Pod. Is this week I'll be having Kevin Gill on as a bonus Patreon episode. Tullo is obviously as the champion allowed to be on that episode if he wants. Would you like to be on that episode, Tullo?
I would love to. I love Kevin Gill, the official announcer of
GCW.
Of GCW and now cow matches. I mean,
yeah. Well, so far he's been involved in all of them. So yeah.
Let me. Without Kevin Gill, our last two shows probably wouldn't have gone off. Like, honestly, the dude is one of the most generous and genuine human beings around. He's a true pro. He loves what we do. He supports what we do. I support what he does. I mean, I saw him all weekend at GCO. He was calling every single GCW. He was calling every single match, and you are going to want to hear this guy because the brain he has for wrestling is special, and honestly, just more than anything, is just a great dude. Just awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, me and Kevin Gill, I called him when we were planning the show out, and he was like, we ended up just talking like for an hour about wrestling before we talked even about the show, and so I hope to bring that energy to the bonus episode. We'll also do a post Dynamite episode. We're gonna have to record that maybe tomorrow. We're getting back on track here because we were actually in Dallas. But so access to our bonus episode, our AEW more centric bonus episodes, but bonus content, and then the Kevin Gill episode I'll drop probably on Monday next week, along with the main pod. Okay, but we're gonna rejigger the schedule based on Tullo's cow revitalization efforts here. That I'm fully in support of. A loss is a loss, and so I take that. Now, support the pod. Let's get into just WrestleMania weekend in general. So we were down there. We traveled there. That's why this pod's coming out late. We traveled back. I went to 2 nights of Mania. Tullo went to a ton of indie shows that I did not go to. I went to some. And I got to say, I thought this was a great time, and I would also say this Mania was I'm sure people at home have a different experience, but this Mania I thought was a fucking great Mania. Like I thought it was so fucking fun, you know.
It was honestly exactly what I thought it was going to be,
Yeah.
which was I was going into it with no expectations. I wasn't really interested in anything, like I just wanted I knew it was going to be fun, like I knew it was going to be entertaining and I was just going to let it come to me as it did. And what the cool part about me is that I was live for night 1, home for night 2. So I got to experience it both ways. And honestly, as much as I am sad I wasn't there for night 2, I honestly think I had just as good of a time watching it on TV because the announcing was incredible. It delivered so well on night 2, delivered so well on TV. Pat's entrance, fucking Michael Cole going crazy. Like you didn't get to hear what Michael Cole was going absolutely.
Oh no, I watched the Pat match. I watched night 2 yesterday.
Yeah, of course.
I can't. That's the one thing. Watching WrestleMania live is not a substitute for watching it. Every time I go, I rewatch it back. Because you can't see it totally.
Kudos to Dallas. I mean, the arena was so sick. I mean, AT&T Stadium is gorgeous. The city, our location, our Airbnb, we were close to everything. We were 7 minutes away from GCW stuff. We were 7 minutes away from the American Airlines arena. You could walk and get stuff. Dallas was a great city. Not the I don't know. But the vibes were immaculate. People were back and having a good time, and everybody was supporting each other. It was a fucking great
Dallas.
weekend,
Dallas, in a way, is very similar to it's like New York's the worst Mania town. Everybody agrees. Okay,
the worst.
But Dallas is like the New York setup, but good, if that makes sense. Meaning, it's very spread out. It's not good like Tampa or Orlando, where it's just kind of like WrestleMania takes over the whole town. Like when you're in Dallas, we went out to brunch on Saturday or whatever, and there are wrestling shirts in there, but it's majority just people going to brunch. When you're in Orlando, it's every business is flooded with Mania people because downtown. And even New Orleans, because the Superdome and the smaller basketball arena is where they do, those are right on the skirts of town. You walk there, so it ends up taking over. So Dallas doesn't do that. But what Dallas makes up for the spread outness is the luxurious, convenient, beautifulness of AT&T Stadium. It's my second Mania in there, and 6 years later, it's such a if you're thinking about going to a Mania there, it's worth it. I doubt any seat in that house is a bad time. Somehow, even though it's 100,000 people, the screen's huge. Obviously, you can't see, but their concessions there's so many of them that short lines. I've never waited to
order
get
food to our seats.
You order food to your seat? Yeah.
Didn't cost me anything extra. You just tip a little bit, and then they fucking come and bring it right to you. I mean, the bathrooms were great. The access to everything was easy. I mean, in essence, it's more similar to New York than anything, because the stadium's about 30 minutes away from downtown Dallas.
Yeah.
So same way New York, you have to go to Jersey to go to the stadium, but going to Jersey is way worse. I mean, we got there and home rather quickly. So I mean, honestly, I just loved it. The vibes were good. The whole theme of the weekend was good. It was very well done. Very well done.
I think this stuff matters a lot to me. It's not about the actual wrestling, but as a fan, you're paying a lot of money to go. One other thing I'll say about WrestleMania is WrestleMania is a lot cheaper with 2 nights. So that's a good thing. Is that when it was at in 35 in MetLife, it was $600 a seat.
Yeah.
Right? Even the
demand
cheap
is to get one, so you have to go. If you don't go, there's more of a demand for the tickets then.
Yeah, so it's I wouldn't even be caught up in, if you want to go to Mania now, you can go and and even if you go to one night, it's kind of reasonable, to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool. For Tullo's big win, I gave Tullo a present took him to night 1 of WrestleMania.
What a
because I respect
celebration.
that title more than anything in the world, even if it was at my expense. That was the responsible thing to do as I had, as this title, which Tullo graciously allowed me to keep the responsible title. Because I told him where I was at, and so I appreciate that. It's just nothing I respect more than the cow title, and when you're the champion, you're the champion. Like, it's a fucking beautiful thing. It's not the thing; it's what it represents. And so it was. Anyway, so yeah, an awesome WrestleMania experience. Now let's talk about the actual show. Now, going into this Mania, I think all of us, even if you go back on this pod, we all were a little skeptical of this Mania, because the builds for this is a true knock on WWE, and it's so deserving. Is like the builds to a lot of these matches have been just non-existent, and the titles don't mean much, because I remember Cole. Well, when I rewatched Night 2, Cole was announcing, and a week before, Tullo was saying, "Why is this the biggest match ever?" And then Cole said before the match started, he was like, "This is the biggest match in history because." He's like, we've never had a title unification main event at a WrestleMania, and he's like, there's 55 times the titles have been defended at WrestleMania, but never has it been a unification match.
Wow.
And I was like, why is this? Was that said ever? It's like, that's kind of cool, right? Like,
Yeah.
That's kind of cool, but. So, like this, whereas AEW is very clear, their records, you kind of know the stakes of these matches for a while. Almost to the point sometimes where I'm like, let's see the match already. Like CM Punk MJF, it was like, how long do we have to wait for those matches? So it's a big knock on WWE. Now, that being said, what Vince knows is for a 100,000 person arena, he wants people to have broad fun. And wrestling can get, let's be honest, as much as we like wrestling, wrestling can get a little stale when you watch match after match after match, it's one of my beefs with the indie scene where it's like, what indie scene always has is it has this guy's, like, they're up and coming, so it's like, let's impress you, so it's like they're vying for contracts, so even if the match has no stakes, it has stakes because these guys are essentially poor. And you're going to see them become rich, right? Like they're going for their dreams. So it has that stakes there. But sometimes I'm just like, man, I wish I knew a little story, because every match in indies ends with them just like shaking hands because there's no build really,
Right.
And so if you in WWE, you can't really get away with it doing the indies, and Vince knows that. So he's like, I'm gonna throw in shit that's fun, and the stuff that they did fun, they went max fun. Max
fun.
Max.
All the fun.
To the point where I'm like, if this is the precedent for Mania, I'm fine with it. I'm fine. Let's talk about fun. And let's go to the stupidest match of the whole card of WrestleMania, which is Jackass Match, right? Which, to be honest, it wasn't really marketed as a Jackass match, but that's really what it was.
Anything goes, yeah.
Right. It wasn't. It was like, Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. But I don't think any of us
maybe
thought.
I'll give him a little. Yeah, I'll give him a little credit. It was a Jackass match where I think they, like, if they would have called it a Jackass match, then people would have been expecting props and stuff. So by not calling it, having the props come out makes it like, oh, okay, this is great.
Christina, you're live on the pod. You're live on the pod right now.
Oh my God. Hi, pod.
Because my phone was plugged into the system to play music. So you're live on the podcast right now. Christina, we're just talking about the Jackass match. We just started telling me. Do you want to tell the people how you felt about, as a wrestling, you appreciate wrestling, but you're not a super mark or anything. How did you feel about this Jackass match?
It was the best match of the night. It made me, I was already a Johnny Knoxville fan, but this completely made me, I'm a super fan of Johnny Knoxville after that. It was incredible. I loved it.
You remember Wee Man slammed Sami Zayn?
Amazing.
That was incredible. That like it brought the house down. You could feel the walls vibrate in the AT&T Stadium from that moment. It was out of this world. That was just incredible. I loved it. Party Boy, but that's like our generation too.
Yeah, the hand, like Sami Zayn, the story of that match is Sami Zayn's trying to have a regular wrestling match, which obviously he'll win, and then Knoxville is just busting out every jackass trick in the book, right?
It was the best. But I don't think that those they didn't use those mouse traps.
Well, they did. No, he went through the table. He went through the table, and then he got pinned in a giant mouse trap.
Oh I don't know why I didn't see it. It was kind of hard to see where I was standing.
Yeah,
but it was cool.
All right.
It
Anyway,
cool.
we're recording the pod. Are you coming here now?
Yes. All right. Have fun.
All right. Anything else you want to tell the cOw universe about WrestleMania?
The cOw universe about WrestleMania. It was so much fucking fun.
Do you want to
I just can't
congratulate
believe there were
Tullo?
so many people. What'd you say?
Do you want to congratulate Tullo on his big win?
No.
Hang up.
No, he got lucky.
Oh.
Hey, you got to get lucky every once in a while, you know?
No, I But all right, have fun. Bye.
Okay, bye. Are you coming here?
Yes.
Okay, goodbye. Anyway, you heard it here first. Christina, not me. We're not in lockstep here. To be honest, we've been not really talking about the loss. You know, I've been kind of in my head about, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I was saying, right, Tullo, I cut you off on the Jackass match, but what did you feel? Similar thoughts?
Well, it's good.
And you watched it at home too.
I watched it at home, and man, I was just laughing, dude. It was so fucking funny. Oh man, I was like, this is so good, like so funny. I was in the we did a little cOw Thunderdome with the champ session. There was a couple people there, and we were all just hysterically laughing. The bits were great, like just really well done. And it's just so funny because you can have that on one night and then have like Cody versus Seth on another, and you're just like, what? WWE is so wild. They'll take you on the most wild journeys of your life that those can both exist.
Well, WWE is a variety show. Like that's the thing. You know, they're a circus. They appeal to every generation. You know, so they try to be something for everyone, and that always can be like goofy, but. If you know, this kind of like, you know, Jackass has such broad appeal that it was almost like you know, you got to give Vince kudos, and then like, let's just get into the other fun thing, which is the other fun things, like Vince having a match against Pat McAfee was just ridiculous. Like no one expected it. It was insane, and what's there not to like about that? You know?
No, man. I mean, talk about someone understanding the assignment. 99% of the way, I would say, is the man, Pat McAfee. That dude, I tweeted about it. I was like, I hate to tell him, but it's time for Pat McAfee to retire from announcing. And the dude's a pro wrestler. I mean, unbelievable. Talk about getting it. But I will say 99% of the way was because, god damn, what was he wearing? Like, it bothered me so
It's a sparkly
much.
tank top.
Oh, it just bothered me. So
can you
much.
imagine? I mean, I know they told him about this match last minute, probably. Like you saw Vince, probably that day he found out he was gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't that much build, so it's like, is it distracting to wrestle like in no shirt? Because like we got it. Because like the Logan Paul thing ruled also. I mean, I'm all over the place, but like Logan Paul might be one of my guys. I don't know shit about Logan Paul. I honestly don't know why he's famous. Like
celebrity wrestlers, one of my guys.
But like
all celebrity
wearing
wrestlers.
a $2 million Pokemon around your neck to come to the ring in that fire of gear. Plus, he was in great shape, and the Eddie heel stuff. It's like, I mean, this was the question that you posed to me, which was like, who's a better celebrity wrestler, Bad Bunny or Logan Paul?
Give me that match. Fucking put Pat McAfee.
Oh
in it.
Yeah, it's a great call. You want
Hollywood WrestleMania battle of the celebrities, and just have it's Hollywood, right? Have fucking Pat versus Logan versus Bad Bunny.
You want a Logan Paul. You're looking for a Logan Paul bet. I mean, yeah. Here's the deal. That's the story of this Mania. Is like all the shit that we're like, this disgusts us. We're settling into a new WWE universe.
Yeah.
and we have AEW. Like, we have it. So do we need WWE to not be? Maybe this is fucking what it is, and
Bro.
apparently we like it.
Bro, okay, all right. You don't have to look much further than Ezekiel, okay? So this is how
Yeah, he's a
this
new
is how WWE
prospect.
this
A
is how
legacy. He's a
WWE
legacy.
shows you that it doesn't matter that they spent $1 billion on WrestleMania. It's back to the same old shit the following day, okay? Because nothing that happened on Raw was worth anything, like at all. And you
Yeah.
know what? It just made me go, oh, thank God I don't have to continue watching this on a regular basis. Like,
So,
holy shit.
Like, we can go into the Stone Cold Kevin Owens main event was brilliant. Like, I'm gonna say
Brilliant.
straight up brilliant because first off, it's like all these people paid to see Stone Cold, and then bringing Stone Cold out again the next night, that was awesome for the people who only went
Brilliant.
one night, right? You know,
Yeah.
to see that pop, because what are you paying for? Pops and stunners, right? When you see
Yeah.
Stone Cold,
And
so
beers.
you got both nights, you got pops and stunners, right? And beers, right? So that was great. But also, like, a main event if the Charlotte Ronda main event, it was clear no one cared about Ronda. It was just very clear. So, like, you know what I mean? So, like, at the beginning of the show, Christina came out and was asking the crowd, like, she was doing, like, marry, fuck, kill with the crowd, you know? And, like, she would say Ronda, and everyone killed her, you know? Like, no one, her stock is down. If she wants to be in WWE, it needs to be as a heel, you know? Like, same as Logan Paul.
With, like, a microphone person. Like,
with Paul Heyman or something, right? Yeah. But like, because the main event is really Brock Roman, having like a non-main event, like for the first night, was terrific. And it played to all Stone Cold's strengths. We don't need to see Stone Cold like in trunks trying to have just a match. Like, that would be probably a mega disappointment, you know? So it was fucking straight up brilliant. My only beef was like, if I'm Vince, I would have really splurged for the beer truck. That would have been just the topper, you know?
So true. I didn't even think about that.
Like, the beer truck, it's like, come on, like, just go, like, whatever that costs, get the beer truck, you know? Start hosing people down. You know what I mean?
The whole crowd.
Yeah. So that was great. Just Vince taking the worst stunner. Not like he took a shitty stunner at 50, and at 70 he takes an even worse stunner. I mean, he is so bad at taking stunners. It's one of his skills, you know?
He, like, if you breathe on Vince, he'll fucking fall down right now. Like, honestly, he barely touched him with that kick. You know, there's so many moments that happened during that Vince segment. One, after he beats McAfee, he's raising Austin Theory's arm, and Theory's music hits, and Vince thinks it's Stone Cold's music. He starts going,
Yeah, I know.
like it's like,
well,
oh,
look,
my fucking God.
At the end of the day, in this Mania, the matches that were matches were pretty fire. I mean, Becky, Bianca. Now Bianca is now positioned to be the new Undertaker, honestly, which is crazy. Like, she is on a streak here. They'd be stupid to have her lose. She's more of like she's more of Shawn. You know, she's like the new Shawn.
Mrs. WrestleMania.
She's Mrs. WrestleMania, but she also has a streak going. You know. Wait, does she have a streak? Her first Mania was when she won the Rumble, right?
Yeah.
So she has a streak going. So it's like, she should never be losing any matches at Manias. No. You know.
She is the ultimate. She is the baby face of WWE right now.
She's young. Sure. She's only going to get better for a while.
Kudos to Becky, because for a company that doesn't give a fuck about storytelling, that story was incredible. And I will prove my point here. I was at SummerSlam. I was there for the squash. I literally saw that happen in true Mark fashion. Left the building. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck this. This sucks. I can't believe they just did this. I came here for this match. I came here to like see Bianca like be successful. And they went through so many hoops to do this. And then I'm at Mania. Fucking match starts off. Goes for the rock bottom, misses it, then hits the rock bottom. And the near fall of that rock bottom on Becky on Bianca literally had me halfway up the stairs. I was ready to leave again, okay? It was so well done. I knew it would be well done. Two pros. I mean, talk about, going into last Mania where everybody was worried about Bianca having an insane match with Sasha last Mania, then coming into here and proving that she is probably one of the best women's wrestlers on the planet right now. And it's honestly tough to even, go head to head with anybody right now because I think she's that dominant. What an athlete. What a performance. Gimmick on fire. Looks like $1,000,000, wrestles, doesn't miss any spots, and can talk. I wasn't all that impressed by her promo this week, and obviously that's less
Bianca?
on her and more about less on her and more on WWE not knowing what they want to do next for her.
Yeah, but she's going to be in a tough spot after every reset Mania time,
Yeah, because WWE doesn't know how to reset after a pay-per-view.
Well, it's also to be honest, it's not even totally their fault. It's just, it is their fault, but it's Mania would be a great way to end the season, right? Now take 2 months off, right?
They'll never take 2 months off.
To come back and expect it all to go, that works well. And the thing they do well, that works well for Edge, who's starting something, or Cody, who's starting something using Mania as a jumping off point when Shinsuke had a heel turn, it works well for that. But when people's stories are culminating, that's what's tough. But what I would say would have been cool if Bianca, I actually liked her promo because she's very sweet and genuine. It's nice to see someone who's just speaking kind of from the heart,
Yeah.
and just that the black guy spoke, what's what I want?
Hey.
What's the term I want?
What do you call Bianca Belair with one eye?
Bianca. What?
Bianca Belair.
Oh, folks, that's a Tampa joke. That's a Tampa joke. I knew that's funny because I was thinking pirate thing, but I couldn't figure out how it. Folks. But Bianca, I like that. But it's she's out there. What she needed was Nia Jax music to hit. You know what I mean? She needed something oh shit, now she's got to wrestle Nia Jax.
Yeah.
What would have been really cool?
Who's not with the company anymore.
If Ronda's music hit. That would have been kind of cool if she was Ronda's bounces back by I need another match because I got shafted, start a feud for her. But anyway, Bianca is fucking great. A great talent. She was one of my guys for a long time, actually, if you want to go back. But I knew she was in trouble after winning last year. But my thought, I knew they had to do it, but I knew she was going to have a lull, and she'll have that again. But if you start branding her as having the Mania matches of the year, she's in good position. Becky, shout out to Becky, who wins gear of all of Mania. Her gear was fire. Becky. Becky looked straight up $1,000,000. And wrestled a fucking great match, and probably will take a break now to parent, right? So,
I honestly think they're gonna dive. I think they're gonna put Seth and Becky together. I think they're gonna. That would be smart, honestly.
So let's get to Cody because I want to make sure before we end that we talk about Cody. So look, there's video of me seeing Cody come back. Shebs immediately ran to the merch stands. I just want to say with Cody, and they already had Cody shirts, and I picked up a Cody shirt, and I own it. It's the design. I love it. It's terrible. You guys know I love terrible wrestling designs. I got to show everybody the Triple H shirt I bought also, which I felt really great about. Once you put the boots in the ring, I felt very vindicated by that purchase. Yeah,
great purchase.
Because I own no Triple H solo merch. I own only DX stuff, and
Yeah.
And this was I felt the perfect shirt to buy. There's something drew me to it. It's something I love about wrestling merch. Because Christina was you guys really love the wrestling merch, you really collect it. You guys are really collectors. I was we really are, and we really, and I really
over 100 pieces of merch.
Yeah,
well over
most of my clothes. If you do a percentage of my clothing, it's probably 50-50 wrestling merch and regular clothing. I think that's true, to be honest. I
literally need no more merch. I just keep buying merch. I have to get that Moxley shirt. It just got released. Need it.
The white one that he wrestled in?
Oh, need it.
I got to look at it because I didn't see what was on
Sick.
it, but I saw him wrestle that match against AJ Gray. That was disgusting.
So good.
He was standing there right next to me. His back was just gushing blood. It was so gross. I was and I said to Christina, I was just to give you context, Christina, last time he was here was 6 years ago, and he was wrestling Brock Lesnar in the AT&T Stadium, and he voluntarily is doing this. That's what I said there. She's like, "Wow," you know. But this Cody moment was insane. I mean, it was great. I'll be honest. I thought the crowd was going to go even crazier. I'm just going to be honest, you know. But that being said, I don't know if that arena, because it's so big and there's so many people there, it's really hard to tell pop other than Stone Cold level pop, which is just insane.
I think also, like, I think everybody was on edge a little bit.
And
Pun
Christian.
intended. Yeah. Because there was that slight feeling that this might not be Cody. And then you didn't know what he was going to come out to or how it was going to be. And then when it was what it was, I think it was just more of a rejoice than a, like,
yeah, it was a celebration.
It feels so fucking good.
Yeah, it was a celebration more than just like, yeah, it was, to be honest, you were taking it in silently a little bit. Like,
Mhm.
it was, because you got to remember that moment. It's like, well, Cody's come back. Well, okay. Like, we know it might be Cody, but then we saw American Nightmare and the Cody logo. And then, the music, it was exactly, by the way, I would say they played his music too low. It was just and I watched.
How'd they play it?
They played it Nicholas Tullo. The music was tiptoeing as opposed to
the sound was off
booming
big time. I mean, night one, that's all I kept saying is they don't have the ring mics on. Something's off with the audio.
You're right. The ring was mic'd fixed on night 2.
It was.
Yes. The slams were way louder.
See,
it was off.
Man, I was just like missing it. I was like, something's off. The music's off. The sound's off. They must have had an audio problem, and they just said, "Fuck it, we got to go."
Yeah.
And because we needed that song to be blasting. We needed downstate adrenaline in my soul, kind of feel.
But that being said, like, he looked like $1 million. He played it so well. He didn't do any of the like, "I'm happy to be here" bullshit. He came out as the American Nightmare, dead serious. His pyro, and he gave just that smirk. I mean, I think Cody might be headed towards heel dome, which is heel.
No.
I think he might be.
No.
He might push himself there. Whatever.
No.
We'll track it. We'll track it. But
I say no for the simple reason is that I think he was trying to accomplish it, like, settle down as a face in AEW, and it wasn't happening. And he knew that if he was gonna be one, there was only one place he could go, and he's going to WWE, and he's gonna be the fucking face, and he's staying like that.
Yeah.
He's gonna kiss the babies. He's gonna sign autographs.
Yeah.
He's gonna do dark matches. He's gonna,
yeah,
all of that stuff. He's doing it all because he wants to be this guy.
He and he's telling a story. He's very good. His story, he came out on Monday, he cut a promo. I had kind of a beef with, you don't have a platform to rise out of. Then just walk out. That looks so dumb.
Just like his head just sticking
Yeah, that
out.
was so dumb. It's like, if he's going to do that entrance again, which I love, they need to change. He can't be coming out of a box. That's so stupid.
I also think they messed up his pyro cue too, because when his pyro went off, he just like laughed and was like, I didn't even fucking get to do the thing I wanted to do.
But it's great to have Cody home. People loved it. I'm excited for it. It's very exciting. And he's here to win the title his family never won. It's a story. And they should milk it, dangle it in his face, and he should not be winning that title until SoFi next year.
That's why I said briefcase.
Yeah.
Give him the briefcase. You can have him have the briefcase, wrestle his matches. Doesn't matter if he wins. Doesn't matter if he loses. He's got that briefcase. It's all about, and if you build that up with him and Roman, it will get him seriously as the face and Roman as the heel.
The story to tell with Cody is, he wants the title, right? We already know that. They're already telling that story, and it's for his father. It's personal. So you need Vince involved. And he's got to be like, I'm ready for the title shot. Vince is like, I don't watch any of that other shit you did. To me, you're back here, and you need to start winning matches, And that's what you should. I don't watch that. Well, I'm saying
he tells him that.
And he'd be like, you need to start going winning matches. And then he starts winning, and then he's like, I'm sorry, you're just not a main attraction. You're a B+, like that kind of thing. And then he wins the case, and then he has no choice, But I think he shouldn't cash in that case other than then he should cash that like how Cena would cash it in. Where you go like, I'm cashing in right now for the future match at a pay-per-view. You know?
Yeah. I would say yeah, you can even kayfabe it with Vince with him. Like I mean, if I'm WWE, I would tell that story. Bring him back. You're an attraction. You're not a champion. You know, like you're not gonna get it. Like this is I signed you. You're here now. You're here to make us money. You know, stuff like that. And then he wins the briefcase. That would be fun. The layer. I mean, you want to get Cody over as a face. You go that way. Listen, it to me, I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just going to let it happen. I think
Yeah.
he's in a great. I think he's in a sweet, sweet spot. I think it's perfect. It's about the only thing that will keep me interested in WWE right now.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, you know, and that's the thing I was saying. So I was watching his promo on Monday, and I was like, I don't know where I stand on this. Well, like where I'm like, is this really? It's the right move because that's what he wanted, which is kind of shocking to me how much he wants to be in WWE. You know,
it does
and
it like
yeah,
it's so almost so hard to even believe it, you know, like
yeah,
there is this always going to be this thing in the back of your mind, like this is all an act, this is all an act, this is all an act, like, but at the same time it comes across so genuine, and I think he's doing a really good job with it. I will say this, we need to fucking talk about Seth Rollins like he's a wrestling god now, because I'm sorry, but like what he did over the course of his time to go into that, to do every single little detail. I mean, talk about understanding the assignment as well, being in that ring, laughing, getting serious, like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kick his ass, taking the L, hitting the pedigree,
wearing
I
lingerie
mean,
merch.
wearing the fucking lingerie merch. I mean, this guy, I cannot say enough good things about Seth Rollins right now.
I have so
Someone
many
posted,
bad things to say about Seth Rollins.
fuck you. Someone posted today, like, that Seth Rollins is in conversation as one of the best pro wrestlers going right now. You're having the wrong conversations, because he 100% is. I mean, I thought he killed it this weekend. I think he's on another level right now, and I'm so excited to see where they go with Seth Rollins.
Yeah, so I'll say this. I love Seth Rollins. I think Seth Rollins is if someone says he's the best wrestler in wrestling right now, I say I'm not gonna argue with you. You know? It's between him, Roman, Kenny, Cody. There's a couple guys. There's all like people you could argue. You know what I mean? Charlotte. There's people, Bianca. Like there's people you could say whatever. You know, Becky. There's tons of people, and it's amazing because I think it's almost an equal breakdown of men to women, which is amazing. You know, um, Moxley. You know, um, but when it comes to this, Seth story was sloppy, but we know it was because he was working on that contract. Seth, Seth came out on Monday in like the pink, and I was like the music, and I was just like, I fucking hate this shit so much for Seth Rollins. I hate it. His entrance before Cody came out was just like nonsensical. It was just like a hodgepodge of people in like those like bar mitzvah things they give out, like glasses and like blow up saxophones, like tchotchkes you get on the dance floor. You know what I mean? Like boas, like, and they were like singing his song. The song's not even well done. Like the chant is fine. The chant is fun, but like then it goes burn it down and it stops while it has momentum. You know. And he's still Seth freaking Rollins, but he's dressed like kind of like Liberace, and like to me, it's all over the place for the guy who's the best actual wrestler, you know. And I'm just done with it. And like I wish he went into that Cody match as the guy who I saw Seth at WrestleMania 33, who was holding like the torch, like the guy who was at WrestleMania. Let's just go to all his manias. The WrestleMania 35 is the Beast Slayer. Like yeah, like. I want that Seth back. I don't mind that he did this, so I'm not like this isn't like the drip was over, all that stuff. But like, if he's gonna be feuding with Cody, I would like him more grounded because there's an amazing story to tell. The amazing story is like you have the best wrestler versus the best wrestler coming back in, like you know.
Yeah, right. But there was no real story to tell because you didn't know who it was going to be until the day of, and now it seems like they had it. You know, the story to tell was that Seth didn't have a match. It wasn't about who was returning. You know, so now the handshake is almost like, you know, it's very Batman and Joker. I say, like, I think this is like these two were probably going to be born to fight each other. a loss to Seth in Mania is gonna this is kind of what you want for Seth. Almost, you want him to lose, you want him to dig deeper, you want him to start getting maniacal, you want him to start being the architect, getting the plans and coming out and do something. So I think we're on this journey with Seth that's going to keep continue going. I think it's always going to be consistently awesome because it's not going to be with Cody.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think Seth's doing great work, like almost despite himself. Like that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, right.
So it's fine, but we'll see. The Cody promo was a little off, I thought, in the beginning, and then he found his footing. Because I think he was trying. He used way.
It was the other thing.
He was way too scripted. And it's like you got to be real in those moments. Like wrestling has an amazing thing of being like, it's why CM Punk is as good as he is, and why he's better than MJF. I know you hate that, but CM Punk has an ability to come off as genuine. He's kind of a great actor in that way, or great wrestling actor at least. And where he comes off as genuine, like he didn't even think about this at all. It's like, I'm just like, and he'll literally say like, I didn't even know what I was going to say before I came out here. And it's complete work. Like he has it very beaten out and scripted. Cody felt like really scripted, but this is the biggest moment of his career. So he found it. Like, I think he's trying to toe that line of being work shoot and blah, blah, blah. And I think he needed to maybe choose one way. That all being said, it's like the Dusty stuff and I guess I wanted it to be like a little realer, like a little bit, but it's minor. It was fucking good, and he has a very clear story direction of where he's going, and it's built on legacy. Did you hear him at all in like he did an interview with Shoemaker? Did you hear that one? We talked about it with the Randy one.
Yeah.
So he was kind of saying like, "Oh, I've done everything for everybody else, and not like for myself." And I just thought there was something odd about it because it was like, why is AEW not doing stuff for yourself? Like you were the top guy in that company, You know what I'm saying?
I would say he but like he was literally doing everything for everybody else. Like he was.
Yeah. I guess what he's kind of saying is that he kind of single-handedly going back to WWE really did. He was like AEW's in a great place and blah blah blah, but he really was saying like there's an unspoken thing which is like, I'm sorry, WWE is just the pinnacle of wrestling.
Well, that
it reminds me of when
it's a place where
because I wanted to give you this as a jumping off point. It reminds me of when Jay-Z was like a part owner of the Nets for a second.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Yo, he was like, I'm a Knicks fan my whole life." And he's like, "Now I'm going to Barclay." And he like is a part owner of Barclay Center, I think.
Yeah.
So then he was over there doing like kayfabe shoots for a little bit. Then he kind of got divested in that, and then was back to being a Knicks fan. Because ultimately he's like, it's Madison Square Garden and they're the Knicks, and that's just the deal. Yeah. And that feels like what he did, And it's inherently heel,
I just honestly, I love it. I love it so much. I think more than anything, I think this is just setting up his career to be never ending. He can go back to AEW and do whatever the fuck he wants. Like it is what it is now at this point. Let's see what WWE does with him and see where it goes. But I mean, staying the same, being the American Nightmare, keeping the song, playing the song in WWE, like it all is so cool and surreal. And I'm here for it.
Yeah, there's nothing negative to be said. It's fucking awesome. Cody, it felt right. He belongs in WWE at this. And
the overall scope of WrestleMania, I think now is less about WWE and actually more about what the name is. It's WrestleMania. It is the epicenter of where the show and all the bells and whistles of WrestleMania meets the professional wrestling side, because there was so much good fucking wrestling that weekend. I was at ROH. I saw the Briscoes versus FTR. Man, that was one of the best matches I've ever been in the audience for.
Insane.
In a non-sold out, shitty little arena. Tony Khan came out. He was on coke, I think. I mean, he was losing his mind. Samoa Joe came back. Like the Joey Janela spring breaks. What else did I go to? For the culture, the diversity, like the talent. There's so much fucking talent out there right now, and it's so sick. kudos to fucking GCW for what they do, man. Like, and the shows that they put on. Shout out to Effie and Janela and AJ Gray, all the people that take the lead to produce their own shows. Like, man, Brett at fucking GCW, I think like a genius. I mean, like, honestly. And it's just so sick because that's what WrestleMania is. It's like WWE doesn't even care what is going on around them. But like, it is truly this era of wrestling that's happening now. And that's what's dope about Mania. It's like, yo, AEW doesn't need that because when they do their big shows, people are going to follow too. So, man, it was a fun ass fucking weekend, man. I'm telling you, I had a blast.
I think
so much fun.
Figured out from what you just said. I figured out my point is that I believe Cody coming back to Mania at WWE, this Mania, at a Mania that people were like, that's dumb. And then it was pretty successful, you know? And I think this was the great reset, you know, that we've been waiting for the past couple of years, where it's like, I believe WWE matters for right now. We'll see what happens. WWE matters again. And I think that's a beautiful thing. You know, I think that's a good thing. It's like, because AEW has its place, it's settled. And I think Cody's the one who told us, like, both companies are good.
It's less about WWE mattering
Yeah.
and more about WWE's influence on the industry. And we need WWE around to draw in all these people, to bring in all these fans, to put on shows like GCW and Effie's Big Gay Brunch, to get more eyes on the wrestlers. Like, if you don't know who Speedball Mike Bailey is, I'm telling you right now, Google this man. I mean, what an incredible professional wrestler. But that kind of stuff doesn't exist without WWE putting on this gigantic show, making it a spectacle, making it a weekend. There is no one in the business of entertainment that puts on a show like what we had over 2 nights. Okay, the Super Bowl didn't look that good.
No.
None of the professional sports look like that. I mean, it's like a fucking a Marvel movie live in person. I mean, really, honestly, that's what it is. The entrances are massive. So like, you need WWE to exist. If they just fucking focus on that every year to build up to putting on this huge show, it's so great. Like, I saw Moxley in a little, like, in like a warehouse, like 2 feet away from me, you know, like,
he wrestled.
I mean, this is what.
He wrestled.
It's just beautiful, man.
He wrestled in both shows. I watched him wrestle on Bloodsport, and then I watched him wrestle a couple hours later.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
We're back.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, we could get into stuff. I mean, a bunch of other stuff, but ultimately, I think we said it all here. Like, this is a fucking great time. I hope you guys had fun watching it, and like, you know, Roman now is dominant, you know, and he's solidified here, and we got, you know, it's only up fun stuff from here, you know. So we'll see where it all goes. And Tullo, congratulations on your big win.
Thanks, man.
And
I'm happy to be champ. I really am excited about the future of the podcast and the title and the matches and the shows and everything that we're gonna do. We're back, baby.
Support the revitalization. Patreon.com/comedians of wrestling. Bonus episode with Kevin Gill coming out this week, probably Monday. I'll announce on the other bonus episode, but I'll put it on a Monday, and then we'll have another episode. We gotta watch it. We gotta watch AEW. We gotta record a bonus episode.
Wednesday, huh?
Yeah.
You know what that means.
Yeah. Everybody, keep
Dynamite.
watching wrestling. Well, Tullo, you do it.
Shit, everyone, keep watching wrestling. Eat my ass.